regarding Iran. And also, Turkey has been, or as a candidate to become an energy transit country, are now on agenda. From a European perspective, what we know that almost 30% of the European natural gas is coming from Russia. And now Russia is some kind of dominant factor, a dominant actor in the region. Some countries like Bulgaria, Poland, and a few others, they actually have more than 70% of their natural gas from Russia. But also they need to diversify the energy resources. And energy security is an important issue, given the conflicts in the Middle East, the position of Iran, and also now the Crimean issue. This is another area that I think needs closer attention. And the position of Turkey is becoming, I think, more, let's say, significant in the context of unfolding events in the Middle East and in the Caucasus. Turkey is a candidate to become an energy corridor, but it doesn't have a strong, let's say, economic infrastructure for that. But since after the failure of the Nabucco project, we have seen the emergence of TANAP project, which will carry the Azerbaijani natural gas towards the Western markets, and also the discovery of the natural gas in the Eastern Mediterranean is yet another potential for Turkey to become energy hub. I think Erdogan will look at those issues. Of course, the Iranian nuclear negotiations that I think today, again, the EU and Iran is sitting together around the same table to find a solution. So these are the issues that we will be looking at, and as we see, the energy is becoming a very crucial, I think, element in foreign policy making. The first speaker is Professor Yama from Turkish University. He has a very impressive CV, in fact. He has a PhD from Oxford University, and also at the moment he is a professor at the Graduate School of Law and the Graduate School of International and Public Policy at the same university. What I see from the very short bio he sent to us is that he is not only academic, teaching in the class, but also he is very much involved in the policy-making bodies and institutions. So he has 15 minutes, and I think he will talk about the title of the paper, a Japanese perspective on Iran's nuclear problem and energy security. The floor is yours, Professor.
Thank you very much. I'm great honor to be about this discussion, and also I'm glad to come back to Turkey, where I always enjoy the food and also intellectual conversations. In particular, after returning from Saudi Arabia last week, where I had a rather coarse conversation intellectually, I'm so much excited with our conversation with our colleagues here. So I intended to talk more on the Japan's policy toward Iran and also the energy security in the Middle East. But I changed mine a little bit. Probably I will speak more broadly about energy security, and in particular, since I found that you are pretty much interested in the problems in Ukraine and that its implication on energy and so forth. So I broadened my focus a little bit from only on the Iran to the other energy security issues. So let me begin with the current situation on Japan. We used to be a big nuclear power state, and we had 54 reactors before the accident, and after accident we have now 48 reactors, but none of them now is in operation. And the Japanese Nuclear Regulatory Agency is deliberating the safety plans of each. I think now 12 nuclear power stations still need to rely on the import of oil and natural gas from the Middle East. So currently, almost 100% of oil and natural gas consumed in Japan are imported. And out of that, 80% to 85% of oil is from the Middle East. And then 30% is from of the natural gas is from the Middle East. So we have heavy reliance of our energy supply on the Middle East first. And secondly, because of this nuclear energy crisis, Japan paid a relatively expensive price for the natural gas. And as you know, the natural gas market are pretty much compartmentalized by region. And Japan kept on paying a relatively high premium for the Asian market from the past. But our price that we are currently paying is further more expensive than the past. Then, what fuel we are paying for? Qatar. We used to got more importation from Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, and so Australia. And of course, we are trying to diversify the source of supply. So these partners are still important. But after the energy crisis in Fukushima, then we had to urgently import the natural gas, and one of our utilities made a contract with a Qatari company, which is which paid relatively higher premium for the emergency transactions. So that implies that Japan is part of the a contributor to the Muslim Brotherhood as well. But anyway, that's one thing. Also, we see kind of shale revolution, quote unquote shale revolution, with which there is a prospect that the United States may achieve self-sufficiency of energy supply, and that probably would reduce the price of coal in European market. But still, it is not sufficient enough to reduce the reliance on Russia for the supply of natural gas. But to some extent, I think this shale gas revolution may affect the landscape of energy security in Europe. At the same time, in the Middle East, maybe somewhat in positive ways and negative ways. And probably because I'm a political scientist and I tend to be pessimistic, so I want to talk a bit about this pessimistic side of that. So that is about the relationship between U.S. Security strategy and energy strategy. So United States mentioned so-called Asian pivot, put more emphasis on Asia, its policy in Asia, both in terms of security as well as the economy, because Asia is a kind of a center for the growth, and also China is rising, and there is a major kind of power transition going on, possibly. So, but on the other hand, the United States definitely will face the budget constraints, and although U.S. said 60% of maritime capabilities will be located in Asia Pacific, but then if the uncertainties or the unstable situation emerges in the Middle East and Europe, then the question is to what extent the United States can fulfill its commitment to the allies in 3 regions at the same time: Asia, Middle East, and Europe. And if the United States will lose the credibility in its policy in the Middle East, that also might negatively affect on our security, our energy security policy, because the stability of the Middle East is the most important, one of the most important elements which would maybe guarantee the stable energy supply to Japan. So, Japan's stake with regard to the U.S. pivot or U.S. strategy is to keep U.S. commitment to the Middle East. that is one of the important priorities for us. So that lead to us a consideration of what kind of role Japan could play in Asia to supplement the U.S. role. In Japan, because of the rise of China, there is rising concern about the credibility of the U.S.-Japan alliance capability to deter China, or some people might wonder whether what is new model of a major power relationship between China and the United States. China and the United States has been discussing what would be the stable relationship between two major powers, and Japan may have a fear of abandonment. On the other hand, the United States is also wondering where Japan is leading the alliance into, in particular after Mr. Abe visited Yasuko Shrine, and the UN, despite of some dissuasions by the US political leaders, Mr. Abe decided its own way of going to Yasuko Shrine, which is very much symbolic of the paying a tribute to those who lost their lives during the Second World War. And our neighboring countries really hate this Yasuko Shrine. So, and then the United States wonder if that kind of nationalistic behavior by Mr. Abe may lead Japan into further escalation of the confrontation vis-à-vis China or vis-à-vis South Korea, which is another ally of the United States in Asia. But so we face some kind of strategic challenge in Asia, but then probably Japan needs to do more role in increasing the capacity of the alliance in East Asia to stabilize the relationship with China. That's one thing. But that probably would lead to more U.S. commitment to the Middle East as well. And so because this is a talk on the energy security, maybe I will more talk on the prospects for the Middle East and the strategic environment in the Middle East, and maybe possible Japan's policy toward Middle East. So on Iran, now EU 3+3 and Iran are in the dialogue. And 3 weeks ago, I visited Iran, and I had a conversation with Mr. Araguchi, who is now the chief of the Iranian negotiating team for this nuclear dialogue. And he suggested that their hope is to finish all negotiations by July. And so for that, the EU 3+3 and Iran will have 5 rounds of the negotiations until then. But I would see that this kind of prospect is a bit too optimistic. In particular, after the Russian move toward Crimea, I'm not so sure whether it is possible for 6 EU 3+3 to have a kind of cohesive position toward Iran. And also, but on the other hand, Iran also have its problem, right? At this moment, its negotiation team has got some pressing from the supreme leader, Khamenei, but the oil price will increase in the end of this month, and people may get more frustrated with the economic difficulties. Although at this moment, the Iranian people are still patient and have some expectations that the new government will do something better. But if the economic situation will not improve significantly, then people get more frustrated, and maybe conservative camp in the political apparatus will accuse the current negotiation team. So then, because the supreme leader is standing on the fine-tuned balance between conservatives and progressives or liberals, so if the criticism from the conservative side is getting stronger and getting more support from the public, then the Sudanese leader may have to change its position and to cut off the support to the current negotiation team. So, but on the other hand, that is also a risk for the EU3+3 as well. If they want to conclude the negotiation with the Iranian side, I think a current Iranian negotiation team is best suited. So I think the EU3+3 want to keep the current framework of the negotiation, current team from Iranian side. So Iran may want to exploit that kind of situation in order to get more concessions. And surprising to me was, among the conversation I got in Iran, is that Iranian side is pursuing full-scale commercial scale enrichment activities. And I don't know if EU3+3 can accept that kind of deal. I originally thought there may be a deal at the scale of experiment or research and development. But if commercial scale enrichment will be continued in Iran, then it means that the risk of nuclear proliferation in Iran may not be kind of vanished. Even though Iran is willing to sign the additional protocol to the IAEA safeguards agreement, but it must be at least the essential conditionality for both sides to agree on. And otherwise, without the additional protocol and more intrusive capacity granted to the IAEA, it is difficult to prevent or detect the Iranian potential weaponization activity. So that is very important element which we have to see in the future course of negotiation between EU3+3 and Iran. But furthermore, if deal was struck between EU3+3 and Iran, the concern is how the regional powers would react. In particular, Saudi Arabia. I was in Saudi Arabia last week, and their major concern is how Iran will behave, first, and secondly, how Qatar will behave, in particular, providing support to the Muslim Brotherhood. So, as you see, the Saudi Arabia, along with two more the Gulf states, summoned their ambassador from Qatar to protest the Qatari position on the support to the Muslim Brotherhood and others. So Saudi wants to maintain its leadership position in the Gulf, but if Iran was able to strike a deal with EU3+3, that position may be threatened. If you compare the size of the population between Saudi and Iran, the Saudi population is almost 30 million, while the Iranian population is 80 million. And I think Iran has got high level of workforce and more kind of civilized population, which is maybe capable of doing more industrial activities efficiently than Saudi. And the military capability is more sophisticated in Iran than Saudi. So Saudi may feel kind of vulnerable to Iranians. So in the last week, in a conversation with Saudi, I repeatedly heard that the potential vulnerability that may feel against the Iranians. On the other hand, my conversations with the Iranian counterparts suggested that Iran would become more confident about its leadership role. And on the other hand, I have also heard very funny statements from the Iranian side. They are concerned about the sectarian kind of confrontations, and in particular, they are concerned about Saudi's support for the very radical Sunnis, while some people in Saudi suggested the support to Iranian support to Shia is one of the major sources of I saw. And so what Japan need to do? I come back to the alliance. So we hope that the U.S. still play a stabilizing role in the Middle East, as well as in the market too. But as you see, the U.S. policy toward the Middle East is not so clear enough to give us confidence that the U.S. is still remain strongly committed and capable of stabilizing the Middle East. And Saudis got some feeling that the U.S. United States and Saudi had four differences in 4 occasions in Iraq, Egypt, Syria, and Iran. So I think restoring the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States is one of the key issues. And I heard that President Obama will go to Saudi Arabia soon, and I hope that that will be a good occasion to restore it. And for Japan, traditionally we had a very good relationship with Iran, historically. So we expect that Iran come back to the market of energy supply so that we can diversify the supply. And also, we hope that Iran would refrain from further developing nuclear weapon capabilities and definitely forego the nuclear weapon options. So Japan should help Iranians to make sure that with the world that Iran would not further develop nuclear weapon capabilities. But at the same time, given the strategic environment in the Middle East is not so stable, it is not so easy for Iran to keep up its potential for latent nuclear capabilities. So we should encourage Iranians to sign an additional protocol, and furthermore, maybe sign on the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty and some other international commitments. And finally, what Japan and Turkey could do. Turkey is, I think we expect our partnership. And of course, Japan's cooperation with Turkey, in Turkey, in particular nuclear area, is one of the issues that we have to discuss. But for the stability of the Middle East, maybe Turkey and Japan could do together, in particular influencing the major players in the Middle East. If Japan and Turkey could have a kind of unified position on that, that would be a strong voice from the international community, and in particular how we could coordinate with Americans on the policy toward the Middle East and stability in the Middle East, then that may have more power or voices for the regional powers in the Middle East, so that they can also take a more cooperative attitude or approach for a more stable strategic relationship. And of course, time has run out, so maybe if we have a chance, I will elaborate more on specific points. But thank you very much.
Well, we thank you for this, I think, beautifully mapping the current issues related to Iran's nuclear problem and expectations from the regional powers and also from global powers such as US. I think what was interesting to me was the fact that we have also collected some type of data from Iran and from Saudi Arabia. I think these were quite original to us. So we have seen not only the Japanese perspective, but also the regional perspective on the Iranian nuclear problem. And also, I think we have successfully outlined the Japanese perspectives on the Middle East. And of course, I have some questions on your expectations from US later on. Now, the second speaker is Professor Erdal Karagöl, a paper prepared with Ayşe Zeynep Naik. I think both speakers have, or both contributors, let's say, have an excellent series. I have known Professor Karagöl for many years, and he has degrees from Stanford University, from Connecticut University, and also PhD from York University. He has quite extensive writings and publications on the political economy of energy and its security. And Ayşe Zeynep Naik is a promising scholar. She has degrees from London School of Economics, Birmingham University, and also from SOAS, where I have also a master's degree. Now, Professor Karagöl, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Professor Küçükcan. in this region between East and West, and also between Middle East, Turkey, and Europe. And we know that the energy consumption is the main driver of energy consumption is population and GDP growth rate. And the demand on global energy dramatically increased 48% between 1990 and 2010. And we expect global primary energy demand will increase at a compound aggregate growth rate of 1.64. And also, when we look at the developing country and developed country, we see the energy consumption growth every year, and the developing country fastest than the developed countries. And Turkey is the sixth biggest economy in Europe, and we have fast recovery after the global economic crisis, 9.2% GDP growth rate in 2010 and 8.5% GDP growth rate in 2011. And Turkey still is growing from global economic crisis from last quarter of the 2009 until this quarter. Turkey is still growing. And sixth biggest electricity market in Europe. Annual demand increase of Turkey is 4.6 since 1991, and annual demand increase of the EU 1.6. Electricity demand increased annually 5.6 until 2020. And we have high targets for GDP or GDP growth, and in order to reach this target, Turkey should have the energy security. And for this energy security, domestically we need to have investment in order to reach this target economic growth or target GDP. And because of that, Turkey required more than 128 billion for the next 15 years in order to match this energy demand in natural gas, transmission, distribution, electricity, nuclear, hydraulic, coal, wind. And that's why this is really, when we look at the Turkish energy market, we really high, and we have a large energy market. This energy market growing every year. And also, we with this targets or target GDP or GDP growth rate, Turkey does not have energy resources. Without the resources, we face some problems, let's say current economic deficit, economic deficit. And in order to get rid of this macroeconomic problem, Turkey should use its geographical situation. And because we know that Turkey is geographically located in close proximity, more than 70% of the forthcoming oil and gas reserves. And Turkey is between the foreign national energy between the source country, Middle East, and Caspian Basin, and consumer markets, that's the European markets. And now Turkey is really trying to be main source of the transit or hub for European markets. And Turkey stands as a key country ensuring energy security through diversification of supply sources and growth considerations that have gained increased significance in today's Europe. And today, when we look at the energy sources, world biggest energy, gas and oil reserves in the Middle East, and Turkey is between all biggest natural gas and oil market, let's say European market, and Turkey is between that and trying to be the transit state or hub for energy sources and between energy source and energy market. And currently, we know that Europe is import over 60% of its gas and over 80% of its coal. And today, the consensus is well in place that enlarged Europe will need some additional gas within the next 20 years. And that's why the EU has recognized the need for new initiatives to develop mutually beneficial energy partnerships with key players on specifically energy security. And that's why the South Corridor is a very good example of Turkey is main source or main actor for the Southern Corridor. And also over the long term, some 100 BCM of the natural gas is access to be transported with Turkey and 40 BCM of the natural gas through Turkey to Europe in the short to medium term, while 201 million tons of crude oil can be transported through Turkey to the port markets with existing pipelines and ongoing projects. And another one maybe for when we look at the South Corridor, the TANAP is another important pipeline, and this pipeline agreement, the intergovernmental agreement signed between Turkey and Azerbaijan, Constitution and transit of Shah-Deniz place to production. The project will have a minimum 16 BCM capacity, and maybe this will increase later. Will be scaled to accommodate future natural gas volume for taking and transiting from Azerbaijan. And TANAP project also contribute to diversification source and also European energy supply security, because now is the European countries mainly dependent on the Russian oil gas, and because this really creates too many problems with Russia and European countries. And also TANAP project will facilitate the realization of other projects within the southern gas corridor. Because we have southern gas corridor, but we have also northern gas corridor. This is really run by Russia. And the long term, the additional gas from Turkmenistan to Trans-Caspian natural gas pipeline could also be delivered by TANAP system to Europe. And that's why TANAP is important not only for Azerbaijan, it's also important for maybe northern Iraqi Kurdistan, or Iranian gas, or maybe the other sources can be transferred from Turkey to the European market. We have East-West Corridor oil pipelines and project, Ceyhan terminal. We have Kerkük Ceyhan and Bakü, and also Samsun Ceyhan is another center. Ceyhan is going to be center hub for oil in the future. About 200 million tons. There are different qualities and characteristics of crude oil will be gathered in this region. And Ceyhan is going to be, we expect, is going to be another hub for the oil in the future. And Turkey is a new Silk Road to the energy. And in addition to being a natural energy corridor and transit, Turkey has a great ambition to become a energy hub. To make it possible, Turkey has tried to complete its liberalization process in gas market, trying to expand gas storage and pipeline network. Maybe with the energy stock market, maybe Turkey is going to be center of the hub of the energy stock market in the future. Additionally, Turkey is also ready to foster and participate in new opportunities with regard to the wealth and balance of the region. And also we have new opportunities in the future. The first one is maybe the important one. Turkey planning to use this gas for its own consumption. Gas from Kurdistan Regional Government, KRG, and this region really has high amount of the oil, 45 billion barrel, and approximately gas reserve about 3.5 trillion CF. And this amount to be enough for 1 year of Turkey's energy consumption. One of the important implications of the success of Turkish energy diplomacy still, we try to solve it, we try to solve with the Iraqi government, not only KRG. Also Turkey is only has gas from Kurdistan regional government to the other country or the other market or to the European market. And another opportunity is Eastern Mediterranean gas, and this region really has huge natural gas is found by Israel and South Cyprus. Despite of this political problems and new pipeline project from Mediterranean to Turkey, and Europe will be established because for this region again there is no another way to transfer this gas from Eastern Mediterranean to the European or the other market to other consumers. Only Turkey is a main actor, and on the Turkey, this gas, the Mediterranean gas or Eastern Mediterranean gas, will be transferred from this region to the other markets or European markets. In the future, Mediterranean gas will be the part of the canal, but Turkey is preferred to use the Kurdistan region government gas. Maybe this gas, when this gas is realized, maybe this one is going to be transferred to the other market. And finally, Turkey is dedicated to play key and driving role in the transportation of the Caspian, Middle Eastern, Middle Asian energy resources or to consumer markets in a timely, reliable, competitive, environmentally sound and high quality basis.
Well, thank you. Professor Karagun has a very optimistic view on Turkey becoming an energy corridor. And he has only talked about the opportunities, but he never mentioned any challenge. I think there are a number of challenges that we should also keep in mind, such as the Syrian crisis, for example, is a very important challenge for Turkey to get a market, especially for energy security. Secondly, the political composition within Iraq, where there is a lot of problem with the north and the Baghdad. This is yet another, I think, area that should be mentioned as far as the challenges are concerned. And of course, the Iranian situation. At the moment, of course, Turkey is not carrying any Iranian gas towards the Western market. This is also one area that I think one should look at as an opportunity as well. The West and Iran, if they sign an agreement, for example, and Iran will look for some ways of exporting its oil and gas to the Western markets. Now, I would like to open the floor for questions, critiques, and also contributions. Glitch.
I have two comments about Professor Akiama's speech. One is the U.S. role in Asia. And I think this is challenging because I don't think the United States has any strategy in Asia. The Asia pivot is missing. You know that it started with strategic reassurance. Later it was turned into Asia pivot. But most of the members of the administration who actually supported the Asia pivot left the administration in the second Obama administration. And since then, Obama made three critical speech on foreign policy and had never mentioned Asia in his speech. Right? And when the Asia pivot came, the strategy was forward-looking, forward-deployed diplomacy, economic statecraft, and military deployment in East Asia. And since then, they couldn't solve the problem in Okinawa, and only thing actually they did in terms of Japan is the charm offensive by appointing Caroline Kennedy as the ambassador in Japan. So both the Nye and Armitage Commission report in Washington that was prepared for CSIS in order to provide the guidance in the future of U.S.-Japanese partnership failed to materialize and failed to make the impact on the administration. So in his last speech in UN General Assembly in September 2013, President Obama basically said, our strategy here is two things: my foreign policy strategy, Iranian nuclear deal, and Arab-Israeli conflict. So when we are approaching the Asia pivot in U.S.-Asia strategy, we need to be a little careful about not over-exaggerating or overreading the U.S. strategy in the region. Secondly, this also should teach us that United States in the recent gas and oil exploration, actually, both in Gulf of Mexico and Alaska has becoming the net natural resource exporter. And its dependence on natural gas and oil is declining. So what happens is, Strait of Hormuz 10 years ago would be the most critical geopolitical bottleneck in U.S. strategy. But now if you ask the U.S. president, they would say Strait of Malacca probably, because of the special concern of the U.S. administration on South China Sea. So we see that in the last Chinese declaration of air defense identification zone in East China Sea, basically the United States preferred to enact and follow, just send Joe Biden for consultation and did not. So the problem here is the strategy of the U.S. is based on responsibility doctrine and burden sharing, in which the regional powers need to basically help U.S. or share the burden of international security. Because of that, when I was making my presentation, the security dimension of the possible partnership between Turkey and Japan becomes so important that now they need to provide contribute the security framework in Middle East. So if these two countries with huge energy dependence want to have a meaningful, strategic, and valuable partnership, probably they need to try to fill the vacuum in terms of security framework in Middle East as well. Thank you. Yes.
So again, thank you very much for the comprehensive presentation on the energy and the overall picture of the energy market that is emerging now globally. We have different variables, and you all very know that they change quite rapidly. Only 10 years ago, we were not really imagining any shale revolution, any tight gas, tight oil, and so on and so forth. But in your presentation, I really missed one very important element, which is good old coal. Patrick, you mentioned that Poland and other countries in Central Europe are reliant on, let's say, Russian gas, which is true. Poland imports around 60% of its gas from Russia, but this gas is not used to produce energy. This gas is used to in a petrochemical industry. We produce, of course, fertilizers from gas, and I'd like to remind you that gas is not only used for energy production. While Poland produced 98% of its energy from coal, the same and very similar situation applies to Germany. The single most important source of energy in Germany still is coal. And by the way, Prime Minister Erdogan said that now Turkey produced around 3% of its energy from coal, while it's aiming to produce around 30% of its energy from coal. So when we are talking about the global energy market, we have to bear in mind that good old coal might be also a part of the new landscape, because with the new technologies emerging, so-called clear coal technologies, we can have the coal still as a relevant and reliant source of energy. Of course, we will have, let's say, a more diversified landscape with nuclear. Of course, now nuclear is not very popular after Fukushima and a couple of other things, but still nuclear is staying important. We will have nuclear, we will have renewables, we will have gas, we will have, of course, coal. So we should be looking at this in a more diversified way. And by the way, this is another platform for cooperation between Poland, Turkey, Japan, and a couple of other countries which are quite reliable on other sources of energy. In Poland's case, coal is an indigenous source of energy. But for example, Japan might have a quite good coal. I don't think that there is a lot of coal in Japan, but Mongolia, China, Ukraine, Russia, those are all sources of the coal, and it might be also a good cooperation platform. Thank you very much.
From Boğaziçi University. I would like to ask my question to Mr. Akiyama. And my question will be integrated with inequality in the world. And I know that in Middle East and North Africa region is not renewable energy, and green investments are really popular in that area. What are the Japanese perspectives on the renewable energy sources and policies, strategies? It includes the MENA region and Turkey and again Japan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the US strategy and pivot, yes, many people say that the second term of team is missing the clear vision on the Asia pivot or the strategy and policy toward Asia. And also the people who are engaged in Asian policy are not so strong enough. Yes, that's true. But if you see the long-term trend of the economy and the security, then inevitably the United States has to emphasize its policy toward Asia. And as you suggested, of course, South China Sea issue is one of the important agenda for this strategy. And that itself actually suggests that the US might have to pay more attention to the affairs in Asia Pacific. But if you read the latest QDR, there is struggle. You can see in its paper that how much United States, the resources limited for US government to fulfill its strategic requirement in Asia. So that's why the US has to encourage its allies and partners in Asia to make a partnership with the United States among themselves, so that the United States and their partners can establish a strong architecture to avoid the further escalation of the conflict among the member states in the Asia Pacific. So in that context, actually, US may have to face a kind of ambiguous position towards Japan. As I said, the Mr. Abe have a tendency of nationalistic posture, which is a concern for the United States because it might deteriorate the relationship between Japan and China. But at the same time, the US government and US experts liked Mr. Abe's policy in security, in particular strengthening Japan's capability and also Japan's commitment to the alliance. And maybe Okinawa is one of the critical outstanding question for Japan, but more important is maybe Japan's more proactive role in the alliance in other parts of the world. And as you suggested, the Middle East is one of the areas that the United States would see more in Japan's commitment. And that is still under discussion. It's up to what the Japanese political community would discuss over the collective self-defense issue and other capabilities. So, let's see what happens in the Japanese political dialogue discourse. And on this call, yes, I agree that there is a revisit to the coal nowadays for more stable energy supply and for the price as well. And this clean coal technology is one of the advantages Japan may have. And it used to be said that because of clean coal technology, the coal is not so competitive in terms of the reintroduction of coal into the energy production market. But because the price of the natural gas relatively stay constant, in particular in Asian market, maybe that is one of the drivers we have to revisit the coal. And as I understand in Europe, because of the shale gas revolution, the US coal became really cheaper, and that came into the European market. So in that case, I think our technology may also have competitiveness as well. And renewable energy, what I know about Japanese policy is that over energy is that clean coal, the renewable energy cannot substitute the nuclear power because it depends on the natural environment, the sunshine, And so it's not, it cannot play a role as a base load energy supply. So with regard to Japanese energy policy, the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry does not support these energy as a kind of base load. But at the same time, in order to diversify the supplies and in order to increase backup capabilities, they subsidize the solar power. So they set a kind of a target, a regular fixed price to purchase the electricity generated from the solar power stations. And that is to support the further kind of increase of solar power. But at this moment, what I see is that this project is not going so smooth. But with regard to the export of such technologies, I think that's one of the areas that the Japanese government is hoping to expand. But we will see what happens, and particularly in the Middle East and Africa. Introduction of the technology is okay, but probably more important is how to maintain the capabilities. Because in case of the solar power, the difficulty is they have to maintain all level, whole area constantly. If one part is broken, then the whole system decreases the capability of generating power. So building the facility is okay, but maintenance of the facility is another challenge. So we have to see the total project.
Mr. Kalu, do you have any comments? Okay. With that, I think we come to the end of our panel. I'd like to thank all of you for coming today, and also Sasakawa Peace Foundation and SETA for supporting this event. Of course, many thanks for Akira Matsunaga, Professor Akiyama, and also Turkish Murata, who came all the way from US and from Japan. And I would like to thank also the SETA team for setting up this conference and organizing it. And I am hoping that this is not going to be a one-time event. We hope to repeat this one either in Japan or somewhere else. Maybe broaden the scope of the conference and publish the papers that are presented here. Thank you very much again.